Yeah, hi there. These comments are for, let me take a look. Okay, here we go. Looks like Miloni. And let's take a look at your situation. So you say, "Hi Michael, I took a TOEFL test a year ago. My total score is 81 and 23 in the speaking, but I need a total score of 89 and 26 in speaking. Now, I'm thinking to take a TOEFL a month after, but I'm afraid, what if I get a failure again? Please help me, waiting for your sooner reply." Now, the main thing is, don't be afraid of failure. Excuse me. Sometimes it takes, I've had a few students, it's taken them 4 or 5 times of taking the TOEFL before they actually get the 26. The main thing is you just have to keep the fight. You have to keep going. Let me tell you a little bit about my online TOEFL course. Currently, Miloni, I have about 50 different independent and integrated speaking practice tests where you can post your responses online. You'll get feedback from me or from my TOEFL IBT writing and speaking specialist, Jacob. I have about 50 different independent and integrated writing practice tests, and you'll get the same kind of feedback there. So I think that my course will be very helpful for you. It gives you a place where you can go, you can study, you can get access to all 330 lessons in my 7 sections: vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So I think it would be a good idea for you to do that. And to help you a little bit with the speaking, there's 2 things you want to do. Take my pronunciation pre-test, and then your goal when you get to my post-test is to try to score 5.1 out of 7 or higher on my pronunciation post-test. And that means you have really good pronunciation that's not interfering with your ability to be understood at all. So I think that would be great. And then each day you can post a speaking practice test to get feedback. It's painful, but I will tell you everything you're doing wrong. I will tell you how to structure and develop your response so you can get the highest score possible. Especially, I want to help you get 26. That's one of the reasons. There's really 2 reasons people join my course. The 2 most popular reasons is they want to get 24 on the writing part of the test. They want to get 26 on the speaking part of the test. Okay, now in conclusion, I want to read you a poem, and the purpose of the poem is to answer your question about failure. You're afraid of failing. But that's not, you got to get past that. So anyway, let me read you the poem. The poem is called The Race, and it comes from Dr. D.H.D. Groberg. There's a very powerful message in this poem. Whenever I start to hang my head in front of failure's face, my downward fall is broken by the memory of a race. A children's race, young boys, young men, how I remember well. Excitement sure, but also fear, it wasn't hard to tell. They all lined up so full of hope, each thought to win that race, or tie for first, or if not that, at least take second place. The parents watched from off the side, each cheering for their son. And each boy hoped to show his folks that he would be the one. The whistle blew and off they flew, like chariots of fire, to win, to be the hero there, was each young boy's desire. One boy in particular, whose dad was in the crowd, was running in the lead and thought, "My dad will be so proud." But as he speeded down the field and crossed a shallow dip, the little boy who thought he'd win lost his step and slipped. Trying hard to catch himself, his arms flew everywhere, and amidst the laughter of the crowd, he fell flat on his face. As he fell, his hope fell too, but he couldn't win it now. Humiliated, he just wished he could disappear somehow. But as he fell, his dad stood up and showed his anxious face, which to the boy so clearly said, "Get up and win the race." He quickly rose, no damage done, behind a bit, that's all, and he ran with all his mind and might to make up for his fall. So anxious to restore himself, to catch up and to win, his mind went faster than his legs. He slipped and fell again. He wished he had quit before with only one disgrace. I'm hopeless as a runner now. I shouldn't try to race. But through the laughing crowd he searched, and he found his father's face with a steady look that said again, "Get up and win that race." So he jumped up to try again, 10 yards behind the last. If I'm to gain those yards, he thought, I've got to run real fast. Exceeding everything he had, he remained 8, then 10, but trying hard to catch the lead, he slipped and fell again. Defeat. He lay there silently, a tear dropped from his eye. There's no sense running anymore. 3 strikes I'm out, why try? I've lost, so what's the use, he thought. I'll live with my disgrace. But then he thought about his dad, who soon he'd have to face. Get up, and an echo sounded low. You haven't lost at all, for all you have to do is win, is to rise each time you fall. Get up. The echo urged him on. Get up and take your place. You are not meant for failure here. Get up and win that race. So up he rose to run once more, refusing to forfeit. And he resolved that win or lose, at least he wouldn't quit. So far behind the others now, the most he'd ever been, still he gave it all he had and he ran like he could win. 3 times he'd fallen stumbling, 3 times he'd rose again. Too far behind the hope to win, he still ran to the end. They cheered another boy who crossed the line and won first place, head high and proud and happy, no falling, no disgrace. But when the falling youngster crossed the line in last place, the crowd gave him a greater cheer for finishing the race. And even though he came in last with head bowed low and proud, you would have thought he'd won the race to listen to the crowd. And to his dad he sadly said, I didn't do so well. To me you won, his father said. You rose each time you fell. And now when things seem dark and bleak and difficult to face, the memory of that little boy helps me in my own race. For all of life is like that race, with ups and downs and all you have to do to win is to rise each time you fall. And when depression and despair shout loudly in my face, another voice within me says, get up and win the race. And that's my message to you, is you got to look at it this way. The main thing is with the TOEFL, you have to look at it like, I will pass this test, Miloni. The question is, how long will it take? How many times will you have to try before you pass? Now, we don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows exactly. But the attitude here is you will reach your goal and you mustn't quit. Do not be afraid of failure. Failure helps us. It makes us stronger. So I think with some preparation, I think if you work hard, if you prepare, you do some good practice at my website, you get some good comments, you review some lessons, I definitely think you will be able to reach your goal. The main thing is, Miloni, never give up. Ever. That's the key.